Hello, Tanya. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Are you okay if I ask you a few questions for this documentary then?
Yeah. I started drinking alcohol when I was probably 12. My mom wasn't around. She didn't take the time out for me. One thing led to another. By the time I'm 15, I'm, smoking pot and having sex. The drugs kind of coped with my emotions on, this is wrong. Ended up riding in the stolen car all the way to New York because even after the first time going to jail, I had nobody to say, hey, what are you doing? Get it together. I had nobody that cared.
Well, I think most of it is their choice. They're going about their business, and then the stresses of life start building up, and then they take that first, they drink a bottle of beer after work because that's what they used to do back in the day. Then one thing leads to another, and they're using again.
The first thing that I can remember as far as ending up on the path that led me all the way here is
Drugs.
My parents and everything were using drugs.
Drugs and a stolen car and stuff.
Possession of oxycodone and forgery.
For forgery, but I was high when I was doing it.
alcohol, the smoking, and that's when everything started changing.
For me, I feel like it was easier. It's really hard for me to say no. Because I know that life more than I do the sober life.
My husband started using with his son, and then I eventually started using. If you're alone or whatever, I guess I search out things to occupy my time that are not good.
At a young age, I was involved in gang activity. My mother didn't accept me. She abandoned me. She chose men and drugs over me as a young child, so I always ran. I had daddy issues, as you would call it. I always ran for an older man for attention, and I'd do whatever I could to prove to whomever I needed to feel that I was accepted.
So on my dad's side, they believe that you can do this with if you're balancing out work and life and drinking and using and nothing's falling apart, you're okay, but that doesn't work for me. So I've had to learn how to set boundaries and put some distance and you know what I mean, the right respect though,
And I just grew up around it. And so just thought that that's the way everything went.
I guess when you come to prison, it seems like time stands still. My husband's grandkids, last time I saw one of them, they were probably 7. And so to me, I think that they're still 7, but they're like 10 going into the 4th grade, and it's weird.
I had my youngest son while I was here in prison, and I don't really know him too much. So when he comes up and visits me, I just like to get to know his personality and his favorite colors and his favorite movies and stuff like that.
My son's 3 years old next month. I feel like my relationship with my son is definitely tainted. I was in prison when I was pregnant with him. His baby book, I have one, but it's empty. I think it's definitely something that I'm going to have to work on extremely just to try and make things right. It gets lonely in here.
Sooner or later, when you hear that so many times and people shun you or, oh, get away from me, you just want to, okay, well, you know what, you're going to say that about me? Then, all right, you're right then. And you just want to go back and be like, well, let me show you.
But I see that now. And I have seen that since I met you guys, and you guys cared. and you didn't give up. So that's when I started changing my life. It's when somebody cared about the way I was living. And you know that if I hadn't met you guys, I would be in prison once again, or I would be dead.
I want people to know that, for the most part, these guys want to try to succeed.
Working in the community, this is the first time I've ever had this opportunity. I'm now learning to live on the right path, and I'm in the midst of all of this, because it doesn't even matter where I've lived or who I surround myself with. Wherever I go, there I am, right?
I am the president of the Toastmasters Club here. I learned a lot from it. It's public speaking, so I've gained a lot of confidence. And maybe if we can have more programs like Toastmasters or anything where these people that don't use and are good members of society, business owners, engineers, and they take their time out understanding and knowing where we come from and still want to help us.
Going to classes, going to meetings. I mean, doing just some simple self-reflection could change your entire thinking process.
You know, I made a lot of mistakes in my life, but from here on out, I know what kind of person I want to be, so with my experiences, I could probably help somebody else out in the future, so I don't think I'd want to change anything right now.